Looking for accurate, up-to-the-minute reports from Washington, the sports world, and Wall Street? You won't find it here. It's not necessarily the news, and it's definitely next.
David and Linda Howard had everything.
You'll get the promotion, we'll move into the new house, and we'll be happy.
David, you're fired. Fired? Oh, I'm fired!
Now they're gonna give it all up.
We have to touch Indians. We have to see the mountains and the prairies and the whole rest of that song.
To find the American dream.
This is just like Easy Rider, except now it's our turn. To America, look out, here we come.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know.
First, they lost their minds.
How much have you lost?
Everything. The movie you're basing your whole life on, Easy Rider, they had no nest egg.
They had a giant nest egg. They had all this cocaine.
Then they almost lost their minds.
If they could live around you had children, this would be their room.
All they wanted was to find themselves.
We found ourselves. Boy, did we find ourselves in the middle of nowhere with nothing.
Albert Brooks and Julie Haggerty
This is a potent combination.
are lost in America. This week on the Saturday Night Movie.
Great movie. You gotta see it. It's historic.
A tall, skinny kid from Minnesota named Robert Zimmerman said he wanted to write songs more than anything else. And the songs he wrote soon became the music of an entire generation. The songs of Bob Dylan. Now, HBO presents an exclusive first-time ever television performance by this legendary singer, Bob Dylan in concert. Premiering Saturday.
We expect a lot from Wimbledon. Strawberries and cream, great tennis, theater, and yes, rain.
Wimbledon. Nothing else comes close.
So many of the great matches are in the early rounds, and anybody who makes Wimbledon is in the top 128 in the world.
It's just so sad when you lose, because you know you won't play here for another year.
My name is Slobodan Živojinović. Jerović?
Boris Becker is fantastic for tennis. I think he loves to play. We have some unbelievable matches because of him.
Wimbledon on HBO. If you don't see it here, you won't see it all.
Premieres June 23rd on HBO.
A comic master and HBO favorite. Grammy winner George Carlin is back for his 6th HBO special. Friday on HBO.
30 years they've been indicting presidents of this union. 30 years.
The Teamsters, where tradition counts.
Excuse me. May I check in, please?
You Americans, you are all right. You think we are your slaves? Well, Monsieur Big Shot Cowboy, to you I say, take your bag, throw yourself out of the hotel, and kick yourself in the derriere from me. Let the woman show me out.
The insults and insolence of France.
Hello? Anybody? Please, there is no water in my room.
The plumber, he's not going to be here till next week.
The indifference and inefficiency of Italy. The tasteless and overcooked cuisine of Britain.
Can I have the chef boil it again for you, sir?
All this, plus the excitement of international terrorism. And now, it's all in one place. Hotel Europe in Tucson, Arizona. This summer, let's keep our dollars here. It's the 9th hour of the 9th day of the 9th debate on the latest resolution to condemn Israel, and you've known how you're going to vote for 9 weeks. Sure, you're paid to listen to this crap, but your eyes aren't, and they're killing you. It's time for UN Drops, the industrial strength eye drops for the professionally bored.
And now, the Osgood Charles file with Osgood Charles.
Boris and Ivan had had quite a few when suddenly their nuclear power plant blew. The Finns and the Swedes received no notice formal. What they received was
radiation levels 10 times normal.
Gorbachev should have told us, some did complain.
His pledge of candor and openness has gone down the drain.
2 dead, said the Reds, but George Shultz said no. That figure...
I will bet you $10 is very low.
Anger and outrage poured in from all quarters, cause...
radioactivity doesn't know any borders.
And weren't the Soviet people upset? Off camera, duh. On camera,
yes.
We're told in the U.S. we've nothing to fear.
What happened in a Russian plant's impossible to happen here.
Well, thanks, but no thanks. Because last month at Chernobyl, we learned once again, reactors are burnable. I'm Osgood Charles. Now this.
It's not that I'm desperate for the support or the security or even the sex. I mean, I don't need to have a man around all the time. I've got a good job and a lot of loyal friends. I'm my own woman. I have a strong identity. It's just that I decided that the time for playing the field is over. I've gotten older and I have new goals. I decided that I'm ready for a home and a family and a lifelong commitment. As long as it's understood that we're going to be equal partners, I'm willing to do my share.
So, does that mean I do? In that case, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
On the peace front, President Reagan and Colonel Gaddafi are making a determined effort to raise the tone of their personal exchanges to a level commensurate with the dignity of their high offices.
You will see, Reagan is liar.
Takes one to know one.
Later in the day, Gaddafi replied, "Oh, yeah?" To which the White House responded, "Yeah." And the first still photos were released today from what is reputed to be Adolf Hitler's own personal photo album. Found in an attic only last month, experts still cannot say for certain if the album is real or another elaborate hoax. More after this.
Dear Certz, last Friday I was studying in the library when I got out of Certz. Just as I popped one in my mouth, the prettiest girl in the school bumped into me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My Certz went down the wrong pipe, and for a moment I couldn't even breathe. Luckily, she knew the Heimlich maneuver. We shared a magic moment, and it wouldn't have happened without Certz. Thanks, Certz.
The Certz encounter. It'll take your breath away.
This past last month, the Queen of England visited New Zealand to help celebrate that country's colorful and joyous egg festival.
Inga waka, tena kutu katoa.
After opening the festival, she went on tour and received the traditional egg hello. Later, while addressing the powerful egg lobby, she gave them what they wanted with this egg quip.
I myself prefer my New Zealand eggs for breakfast.
As the egg festival drew to a close, the Queen wore the customary yellow for the touching scrambled egg farewell. All were agreed this had been the best egg festival of all. And the Contra leader known as Commander Zero, who announced his retirement last month, today resurfaced in Nicaragua with a new band of guerrillas. Hopes to tour the United States sometime in late 1989. Now this.
Join President Reagan.
With regard to the
Ferdinand Marcos.
I deny categorically any speculations of the corruption and hidden wealth.
And Richard Nixon.
Well, I'm not a crook.
All illustrious graduates of the Waldheim School of Memory Training. We'll give you the diploma so you can say...
There was nothing to hide.
Hey, Brad, you throw me another beer? Sure. Heads up.
Just a minute! I am trying to talk here!
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Charlie. Right.
You have to put the bankers who do that, like Donald Reagan, President Chief of Staff of the White House, put them in jail where they belong.
Lyndon LaRouche.
For example, President Marcos was opposed to me, and he fell as a result.
Master of the quotable quote.
They want me to stick it to Washington. That's what the voters want.
Now he's taken his secret methods and made them available to you. Does it work? Just listen to this dull man.
Interesting, useful, frank, businesslike, productive.
That was before he took the LaRouche course. Listen to him now.
The message is, you've had it, pal.
The Lyndon LaRouche Home Study Course. 10 days to a more exciting you.
The investigation into Michael Deaver's lobbying efforts today revealed new facts regarding Deaver's clients.
The former presidential aide not only worked for Canada, Rockwell International, and the Day-U Corporation, but was also a lobbyist for the National Basketball Association, Antonio's Frozen Pizza, McDonald's, Sara Lee, Ivory Soap, and Pepsi.
Sports are an important part of growing up. Sports teach children the value of teamwork. They show youngsters how to play fairly and honestly. Athletics not only teaches them to win, but how to handle losing. Support sports in your community and schools. Be a good sport. This announcement paid for by the President's Council on Sports.
And now, with an investigative report on white-collar crime, here's our own investigative reporter, Philip Noir. Phil, I understand that your investigation took you all the way to New York City.
That's right, Bob. New York. Gotham. The Big Apple. The main stem. The Great White Way.
Phil.
Okay. Roll it. It was a cold night in a cold town, but I left my fear on another coast and my better judgment at the bottom of the East River. You see, some dame tipped me off that the shipping magnate boyfriend of hers was about to be fingered for fraud by the IRS. Something about 1 or 2 missing decimal places in the company's books. Anyway, the dame, it's always a dame, is afraid that Mr. Magnet will want to put her in a full-length cement coat and send her on a long cruise off a short pier if he thinks she'll start singing to the T-men. My job? Make sure the dame stays in one piece and come back with a good story.
Hi, little War. Here's the dough. Come and get it.
$50 never looked so good. As I walked towards her, I knew this was more than just a case of... All of a sudden, I felt like the bass drum in the Texas University Marching Band. Or maybe the timpani in the last movement of Berlioz's Symphony Fantastique. Everything was spinning, too, faster than a long-playing record, though not quite as fast as a 45. Anyway, when I came to, I was bound and gagged and looking down the barrel of another kind of 45. And comes over here and pretty finger on that trigger. Little Miss $50.
I can't understand what he's saying. How about another drum solo?
This time it was more like Topsy, Part 2 by Cozy Cole, one of my favorites. Anyway, it was a good time to get back to L.A. and file this report. If I'm never hit on the head by a blunt object again, it'll be fine with me. Bob?
Phil? Next time, Phil is going to look into, oh boy, the mafia. We'll have more later.
For the scripture tells us that it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
This is Gallagher. Would you trade your New Testament for this book of spiritually uplifting theology?
I certainly would not.
Not even if it's the new Improved Testament?
Wow! Gee, I don't know.
That's right. We've taken those old parables and punched them up with action, romance, some gags, and a whole new assortment of characters. And between each book of passages, we've inserted puzzles, riddles, tongue twisters, and brain teasers for those moments when self-righteous scripture is the last thing you feel like reading. And that's not all. In the back of every new and improved testament, we've added a handy metric conversion table, a calorie counting chart, and an assortment of home improvement ideas.
And he said to his apostles, take this, all of you, and pay for it. I left my wallet in my other suit.
If you like the New Testament, you'll love the New Improved Testament. A good idea keeps getting better.
Coming up, Colonel Gaddafi visits the Marcoses.
No, I don't really like any of these. What do you think?
No, none of them really grab me.
What else do you have?
Well, that's just about it for frames. You've seen just about everything we have. Have you two ever considered contact lenses?
No, I don't want contact lenses.
No.
What about glass eyes?
Great idea, honey.
Is this the kind of thing you kind of had in mind?
Yes, terrific. I'll take 2. What about you, honey?
Sure, why not?
Blue? No, brown.
Could you? Oh, no, I like these. These are absolutely marvelous.
We'll take them.
Shall I put them in the bag, please?
No, we'll wear the new ones out. You can just throw the old ones in a bag.
Seen reviewing the Lipizzan stallions today at the White House were President Reagan and his new chief of staff, Mr. Magoo.
I love a good dog show. Hey, New York! Hey, Jersey! Hey, Long Island! Grab your wallets! Come on down!
It's the Going Out of Business Store's 25th anniversary super sale.
I'm Sal Parkman.
And I'm Lou Clarkman.
And we've been going out of business right here on Times Square for what?
Quarter century.
No, more. It's closer to 25 years.
25 years.
You're familiar with our motto, Lou.
Everything must go.
Ever to make room for the new shipment.
Our loss is your gain.
And vice versa.
We lost our lease.
But we haven't stopped looking for them.
It's the biggest sale ever at the Going Out of Business store. 85 convenient locations. Look for the one nearest you.
In Saudi Arabia, Sheikh Yamani told his OPEC partners he was pleased with current oil prices, while a little nervous at the same time. And Senator Patrick Leahy has called for an investigation after reading in a newspaper that the Statue of Liberty is all streaked and looks awful due to workmen relieving themselves on the monument during its multi-million-dollar restoration.
Go after the people who are doing the leaking. That's where our real problem is.
And Andrea Artukovic, the former Nazi responsible for the deaths of thousands during World War II, was in a Yugoslavian court again this week. Originally sentenced to death by firing squad, the court this time took pity and reduced the sentence to 30 years at hard labor. More after this.
When I go shopping, I like to buy lots and lots of things. Me too. And I don't like to be asked a lot of questions when I fumble for my ID. Me too. Besides, no one even knows my name. Me too. That's why I carry this, my father's credit card. It's honored in over 40 countries and thousands of malls across the United States. Don't leave home without it. Me too.
Your father's credit card. Don't leave home without it.
President Reagan's last-minute decision to join Hands Across America may have signaled a change in the administration's attitude toward the hungry and the homeless. But only time will tell. And in the light of new terrorist threats, the nation's airlines will henceforth x-ray all carry-on baggage, checked baggage, and passengers before they're allowed to board their plane. Now this.
This portion of Not Necessarily the News is brought to you by Mutual of Mints. Don't get let down next time there's a meltdown. And by Tomahawk Pizza. If it's not there in 30 seconds, you don't pay.
Hi. Just a reminder, we can always use more Sniglets. Send yours to Sniglets, Post Office Box 2350, Hollywood, California, 90078. And if we like it, we'll send you a new copy of Unexplained Sniglets of the Universe, such as Mini Blurb, that useless piece of information you always find about the author on the back of the book.
We now join Prime Minister Thatcher's press conference already in progress.
That is what I understood from the speech this morning. That is quite separate from the regional things.
Madam Prime Minister, how can you sit up there and tell us all's going well with the Garter in light of the widely reported derogatory remarks made by the Chief Constable?
May I ask you what those derogatory comments were?
Everyone's talking about them. It's common knowledge. Remarks were made.
What were the comments directly quoted from the lecture that were alleged to be derogatory?
I don't have them on hand here, but...
No. And I ask it for very, very good reason. The speech was seriously misrepresented in the media. Indeed, the reporter concerned in an interview on BBC Radio subsequently made it clear that the article which he wrote was an expression of opinion and included some extracts, not necessarily verbatim, from the Chief Constable's address. We noted that while the Chief Constable had expressed concern of the scale of resources available to the Garda, he had paid tribute to the forces. Specifically, he had said it was an excellent force of fine men, that the RUC and the Garda had a good relationship along the border at working level, and there was no lack of will by the Garda to combat terrorism. Will you now tell me what was the basis of your question?
Well, actually, I heard it in a pub. Where I'd like to go now, if you don't mind.
Well, I think you've now heard. I have said exactly what the position is, but it does not help if reports are inaccurate, then questions are founded on inaccuracies, even when those have been corrected, and the full lecture is available for people there to see.
Coming up next, our America Undercover series continues with a compelling, sometimes disturbing look into the minds of 5 criminals to ask the question, rapists, can they be stopped? Next.
June, a great month for the very best from HBO Premiere Films. A Hollywood honcho is shot.
Finding any likely suspects?
James Garner, Margot Kidder, John Lithgow.
I don't want to do it anymore.
The Glitterdome, a sleazy side of Tinseltown. When safety is shattered,
we've had a tragedy here tonight.
People take charge.
He hired a security guard.
Martin Sheen.
I want you out of here.
Louis Gossett Jr.
You're making a mistake.
The Guardian.
Oh, dear God.
A bank robber.
Let him be a sheriff again.
No!
When 2 legends come face to face, the Old West will never be the same.
All you folks, go on home.
Kirk Douglas, James Coburn, Draw.
The only way I can get out of this town is to shoot my way out.
He's a time bomb.
Time has run out for a murderer on the loose.
How the hell can I stop looking for it?
Richard Widmark, Keith Carradine, Kathleen Quinlan, Blackout.
It was you.
The stars, the drama, the excitement, the best. HBO Premiere Films, Thursdays in June.
Hey.
Yeah.
Who's it?
Your husband.
Most people will tell you that when a woman leaves her husband for another man, you can throw the book right out the window. Down here in Texas, people like to talk. That's what really gets you. Now, I don't care who you are, where you live, or how much money you got. You still gotta have pride. Without that, a man starts to lose control.